Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. It's been a week without a video. I've been doing one steadily every week, or trying to every Sunday. But last Sunday I just didn't have enough work done on the Chipmunk to justify a video, and I started working on another project. So before we get into where the Chipmunk's at, let's talk about what I've been working on. So, probably not very many people are going to recognize this airplane, and some that might are going to look at it and go, boy, that looks just like a HOTS. Except the HOTS looks just like this. This is a Don Mudeman design flying machine. I posted a video years ago when I was getting ready to scratch build my fourth or fifth one. I don't know, I've built a lot of them. And I built the tail section, and that was it, just because I don't fly these types of planes much anymore. But this is one of the coolest all-around sport planes / extreme aerobatic airplanes ever built. The way this plane is designed, you cannot destroy it in the air. There is no type of maneuver that you could do that could cause this airplane to fail, which is really cool. And I know that because I've tried it, believe me. So, this is my fifth one, and I bought this from a local flyer here in town, but this actually came from another flyer that flew in our local club back in the 90s, and I flew this airplane 25 years ago-ish, 25, 26 years ago. He let me fly this airplane, and it was the first time I had seen a flying machine since my dad built his in 1990. So, awesome airplane. If you've never seen videos of Don Mudeman flying his, you need to. And if you've watched any of my old Striking Back videos, then you have seen this airplane, because Don always did an air show with his flying machine. So, this says, the title of the video says Flying Machine Restoration ? Well, I was going to completely restore this airplane and do it up in the Zap color scheme, which is my favorite scheme for this airplane. But I decided not to, mainly because I'm getting this flyable so my son can fly it, since the sport plane he normally flew last year was lost after elevator servo failure. So he needs something simple to fly that's not a foamy. So I decided, well, let's put this thing together. So what did I have to do to restore it? Mainly was just restoring the covering. The covering was very, very shriveled up, really bad shape, and the airplane was not finished. I mean, this thing is built very well built, nice airplane, but it wasn't finished. And what I mean by that, we'll go into the wing here in a second. You can notice very much so right here that I've added several pieces. So these, oh crap, what do you call them? These dorsal fins here are supposed to be a part of the stab and a part of the vertical fin, but they were not put on there. And without them, the plane just doesn't look right. I mean, when you get back and look at it, that's the way it's supposed to look. So I put those on, and the wing right now is finished the way it is per the plans, per the kit, whatever. But they used to stop right here when I got it. Right at the aileron is where the wing stopped, and it was just flat. So the original builder did not put on the wingtips. So I trimmed the covering back, and the wingtips are two pieces of 1-inch triangle stock doubled up, and then just glued onto the side of the wing. And then when you start shaping the wingtip to match the wing, you get this beautiful, beautiful wingtip. I mean, that makes the airplane, in my opinion. Not having those wingtips was just a sacrilege. So, I had covering that blended pretty well. I mean, you really can't tell the red, yellow, and blue. The white you sure as hell can, but, you know, no big deal. The canopy was all chrome color, but it looks so much better when you frame it out. So I framed it. Makes it look a lot better. And I had some leftover graphics from my previous flying machines, so that's got to be on there. I mean, why not? Why not? And just for the funsies of it, I had this this old GMS 40, which will fly it well. Normally, if this was going to be a plane that I was going to fly a lot, it would have the most insane, you know, high performance 46 known to man in there. But because my boy's going to be flying it, we'll see how he likes it. If he ends up really, really liking it and doing a great job with it, then maybe next winter I'll strip it down and redo it completely. But yeah, so I was pretty busy with that. All I got to do is throw a fuel tank in it, and she's ready to go. So let's get this out of the way. Put it somewhere where I don't step on it. We'll get into that in a minute. So, to the Chipmunk, where are we at? Right now, minus putting in the fuel tank, I have a lot of planes that need fuel tanks. It's flyable. It could fly right now, just putting in the fuel tank though. It's not finished, but it, you know, damn near flyable. So I have finished completely the landing gear, wheel pants, everything. This is all painted with Rust-Oleum, just white Rust-Oleum. And the Rust-Oleum itself gives you a really, really nice finish. And then once it dries, because it's just an enamel paint, you have to give it some time to dry. If you try to do anything with it too soon, it's still kind of soft and you can damage it. But you can wet sand and polish just regular Rust-Oleum and have a great finish. But I took it one step further. Once I painted it with the Rust-Oleum, I let it sit for about 4 or 5 days. Then I went ahead and put on the vinyl graphic here for the wheel pants. And then I clear coated them with the Spray Max clear coat that I did a few videos ago. And the results speak for themselves. Now this is wet sanded, started with 1500, went to 2000, then went to a rubbing compound, then a final polish, and then a wax. So it's quite a bit of work to get them that shiny, but like I said, the results speak for themselves. It turned out really nice. Got the gear leg strapped in there. Everything is permanently mounted. I hope you watched my video from yesterday when I went to Dynamic Balsa and Hobby down in Lenore, Illinois. Oh my God. If I would have had my truck and trailer, I probably would have emptied my bank account. Oh man. But all I bought was pretty much a fuel tank and these wheels. And so the wings are completely finished. I mean, 100% finished. So, what else we got going on? Oh, I was asked a question to go into further explanation or definition, if you will, on a redundant system. Now, plenty of other ways of doing redundancy involve like a smart fly or a power box system, which is a power expander. But I don't like using those because it's just another piece of equipment that could fail. So I keep things simple. And I don't fly airplanes that would ever require systems like that. If it requires that kind of hardware, I don't really have any interest in it. That's just me. That's just me. Oh, and I did a lot more work. We'll get to that. I'm trying to remember what I went over in the last video because it's been a couple weeks. Anyways, so the way I do redundancy is if I'm going to run 2 batteries, so I have 2 batteries here that are going to be for the receiver. They do make switches that's one switch with 2 leads to go to 2 batteries, and then it just goes into one port in the receiver. But that totally eliminates the purpose of redundancy. Because let's say I have one switch that has 2 batteries going into one port in the receiver, and that switch fails. Well, I lost the airplane. So having 2 batteries does me absolutely no good. So 2 batteries, 2 switches, 2 ports in the receiver. And as you can see, this one I have them plugged into 9 and 12. I don't like to put them right next to each other if I don't have to. It doesn't really matter. It's not doubling the voltage to the receiver by any means. It's just 6.6 going into 2 different ports. And it should draw the batteries down relatively equal. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, so just kind of keep an eye on it. But that's how I do the redundant setup. Like I said, if you're going to put 2 into 1, it defeats the whole purpose. So there's no point in doing it. So what else did we get done? I got all the pull system done for the rudder, and it works very well. Actually, I do have everything plugged in. Hold on, let me get my radio. Alright, got the radio hooked up here. So you can kind of see, I know I explained how the rudder system works with the pull. The 2 outside lines are going to the rudder, and the 2 inside are going to the tail wheel. Very nice clean setup. And when we look in the back, trying to get an angle where we can see both. There we go. Nice, clean, nice and strong. Works perfect. So I got that all hooked up. I did make a boo-boo. So for some reason, on the lines for the tail wheel, I crossed the tubes in the fuselage. But I did not cross the tubes for the rudder. Now what that means is when you cross the tubes, you're changing the direction. So when I first hooked it up, the tail wheel was going one direction and the rudder was going another. So that wasn't good. So I did have to put new cables on the tail, but I just crossed them back here. I wasn't gonna, monkey with the tubes at all. And the cables for the rudder are a little loose, or for the tail wheel are a little loose, because I like it to be just a little bit sloppy. There's no need for it to be super tight. Let's turn off my redundant switches here. Hold on. All right. So yeah, hopefully that answers everybody's questions on, because I had a few questions about the redundancy system, so hopefully that clears it up. And I was asked another question. I get asked a lot of questions, which is good. I'm sorry I don't always have time to answer them all, or the mental capacity to remember. But I was asked about these servos. When I mentioned that they're rated up to a 2-cell LiPo. I'm only running 6.6, so therefore I am not getting the maximum performance out of these servos. So the question that was asked to me was, why are you running 6.6? Why don't you run a 2-cell LiPo? Well, 2 reasons. One reason, which is not the main reason, but a good reason, is I don't need that kind of performance out of the servos. I do not fly, the modern, super 3D and high performance aerobatic airplanes that have, ailerons and elevators that are, 3/4 of the wing, where you have to have that kind of servo to adequately move the controls. I don't need that kind of stuff. I'm way too old school. So that's one reason. These servos have way more performance than what is necessary for this airplane. But the main reason is, I've mentioned it before, that what I have in my basement hangar here is just a portion of the planes that I own, and a portion of the planes that I fly. So I have a lot of batteries, and I don't keep batteries in airplanes. There's only a handful of planes. I think it's my Panther and the P-47 are the only planes that actually have batteries that live in them full time, which may be subject to change in the future, who knows. But for the most part, let me get these out of here. I only plugged this in for demonstration purposes. When I'm going to fly, this airplane here, because it has a redundant system, is going to be a double pack for the receiver and a single for the ignition. So that plane's in the trailer. I know I'm going to fly it. I open up my battery box. I go, there's my double stack for the receiver. And there's my single for the ignition. Boom. You know, and I'm going to fly my P40. There's a double stack because it's a single for the receiver, single for the ignition. Boom. P40. And I'm going to fly my Bud Nose in 310. That's got just a single receiver battery. Ignition batteries are in the cells. Boom. I'm going flying. So this is why I don't use the 2-cell LiPos for that specific project, because I keep everything very generic, where I can fly everything with anything, if that makes sense. So, but if I did ever have an airplane, again, that requires maximum performance from the servos that I'm using, then yeah, I'll do it. I'll put a, you know, I'll do the 2-cell LiPo, you know, do whatever I need to do. But for this situation, it's just not necessary. So what else is done? So the Canopy, let me get it on here. Everything just looks much better than when it's on the airplane. The Canopy, I can't remember if I had it installed on the last video. I got 10 screws holding it to the hatch, but the front and back are not secured. So what I'm going to do is I painted the inside just with some acrylic paint and got the pilot in there. Not sure if I had that on the last video or not. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But I'm going to take some Canopy glue and just put a bead right around just the front and back edge here. And the only purpose for that is when I mask off the Canopy, because it's going to have a white frame all the way around it. You know, just like any other Canopy that I have down here, you know, it has a frame. So I got to paint that. Well, yeah, right here. So it's going to look like that. This cannot have any gaps, because when I go to spray it, any paint that can get underneath that gap could go inside and start, you know, I could start getting like, you know, a paint overspray on the inside of the Canopy. And that would not be good. So the Canopy will be semi-permanent. You know, if I wanted to remove it, Canopy glue is easy to take off. So I just have to take out the 10 screws on the side and literally just kind of peel it off. If I ever had to. I don't think I should ever have to take the Canopy off. I was hoping to get the cowl at least painted white for this video, but we ran into some snags. So I'm always expecting a little bit of body work to be done on fiberglass parts. The wheel pants were not bad. I was able to just do a little bit of the glazing spot putty from 3M. Comes out of a tube, don't have to mix it. You know, just did the seams. I know somebody's going to ask about this. These areas right here. I did not sand or blend the very bottom of the wheel pants because I don't care about that. These are going to be all skinned up from grass and all that crap, so yeah. They're finished from here this way, and from here this way, and from here this way. I don't need to worry about all that, just in case somebody asked. So those went relatively well, and the cowl was a different story. Holy pinholes. Yeah. So, needless to say, there's more work here that can be than what can be done with just a little bit of spot putty. I mean, it's and you can't see these types of imperfections just in the fiberglass. You have to get some primer on there. But oh man. So the glazing spot putty was not gonna happen for that. So for that, I got some of the icing light from USC. Comes with the hardener. This stuff is really light, really easy to put on there. So what I'll be able to do is just mix up a good batch of that And basically, I'm just going to cover this entire cowl with it. And then when it's done, just sand it. That'll fill in all the pinholes. Hit it again with the white primer, and we can start painting. But yeah, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed. I'm surprised there was that many pinholes. Normally it's just, you know, a couple here and there. But that was exceptionally bad. Let's get you out of the way here. Hold on. Yeah, this doesn't have a tail. We also, pardon the scratching sound. What do we got on the TV today? This is Andy's Hobby Headquarters, I think. Yep. This is basically a hobby store, I believe, in Arizona. Phoenix or Tucson area, not sure, but it's in Arizona. And he posts videos of all sorts of stuff, but he's mainly into plastic models, airplanes, cars, World War II armor, tanks, ships, all sorts of cool stuff. And he builds things, and I love having videos like this playing in the background, even though I don't build plastic models anymore, because if they don't fly, I don't have much interest. But I enjoy watching these and listening to it in the background. So check out his channel. Really good stuff. Very entertaining. And as you can see, see, I will never do this to you guys. I will never do this. Stupid ads, man, I tell you. Anyways, does that not look real or what? Great work. Alright, get this thing back over here. Let's see, what else have we done? I think that about covers it. The wings are finished. I've polished them. I'm getting some wrinkles that are showing up, but this time of year in my basement, it's so dry. I don't run a humidifier, don't plan on to ever. So things get wrinkly. But as soon as springtime comes around, everything tightens back up. So what else? I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else going on. Are there any other projects I've been working on? I don't think so. Still need to put a gas tank in the Hanger 9 Extra. As soon as I get the... Let's put it this way. If I put the gas tank in the Chipmunk right now, and it was 50 degrees out and sunny and grass, I'd go out and fly the damn thing. So it's there. It is there. I think that about does it. I don't think I got anything else going on. Nothing that needs to be shown. Oh, I did finish the old Great Plains cap. It is now absolutely finished and ready to fly. It's got a fuel tank in it. OS 91 4-stroke. So for part of my vintage collection, that's ready to fly. Yeah, people are always curious where, I got planes stashed everywhere, so don't ask about that. That is for sale, but it's spoken for. So, Adam Klein, this is for you, buddy, because I know you and me are probably the only ones that are going to be watching my videos that are flying machine fanatics. And I know you have one and absolutely love it. This is my 5th one now, and I'm sure it's going to fly fantastic. And if it does end up flying good, I'll probably strip it down next year, but maybe not. I mean, this scheme is kind of growing on me. It's very simple, but I don't know. It's kind of toyish, if that makes sense. I don't know. We'll see. Well, let's see what happens now. I think now I'm going to get the tank installed. Bondo up the cowl. Maybe get that painted this week. At least the white, because then I have to wait for the white Rust-Oleum to dry. I need to do some color tests because I think I found some red paint that will match Monocoat True Red than what I've used in the past. So I'm going to do some color trials before I get it on the cowl. And we are so close. So close. So I'm not going to do another video until I have some real progress done on the cowl, so it might be another couple weeks, but we're getting to the point where work is really slowing down, and it's just kind of time-consuming finishing details now. So as soon as I get some more work done, I'll bring you back. Later.